Am I the jerk for calling a coworker by the wrong name for 7 months? I started at a new job in August of last year. It's a small company of 5 full-time staff members and 1 part-timer. I am the newest full-time employee by about 7 years and the youngest by at least 20. I say this all to mean that as a naturally anxious person, I in no way, shape, or form have felt any ill will, false superiority, or any of those other things towards any of my coworkers. I try to keep to myself and be as least bothersome as possible, knowing I am an outsider to their system. I speak quietly and try to be as polite as possible, and have occasionally shared drinks or parts of my lunch I thought they'd enjoy, trying to be perceived as both out of the way and friendly in case hard times come to our business and layoffs end up being on the table. I thought I had been succeeding on this front until a few days ago. For the first several months at the company, I only really interacted with 3 coworkers on a daily basis, and I would speak to our graphic designer named Mandy maybe once a week or so. I have no idea how or why or when, but at some point I messed up her name and called her Mary instead. When she didn't correct me on it, my brain instantly decided her name was Mary from then on. Whenever I spoke to coworkers about Mary, nobody corrected me. In all of my conversations with her, which usually began with me calling her Mary, I was never corrected. Similarly, my brain never clicked and called me a moron when those same coworkers would talk about Mandy. Fast forward to a month ago, and they're beginning to have me train on some of Mandy's tasks to lighten her workload. Once or multiple times a week, I interact with her for longer periods of time, and I somehow still didn't catch on until I saw her business cards a few days ago. I realized with horror that I had been calling Mandy Mary for 7 months. I know it upsets people when you call them by the wrong name repeatedly, as I used to have a teacher in middle school that called me by the wrong name all year. So if I had been corrected a single time, I would have been mortified and corrected myself immediately. Now I'm not sure I shouldn't quit and find a nice hole to die in. So much for trying to be liked by my coworkers. I haven't apologized yet because I don't know how to at this point, and even though I've tried committing Mandy to my brain, on occasion Mary still slips out. I'm getting better about it, but at the same time it doesn't feel like enough. I'm just confused as to why nobody has tried to correct me this whole time. I feel like such an idiot. I want to make it up to her and apologize, unless it would somehow make things worse, but I really don't know how to do so without making it weird. I was thinking maybe a cake and an apology note, but I don't want to seem like I think it's silly or somehow worth celebrating. What should I do? This is tragic because there's nothing worse than calling someone by the wrong name and then that person never correcting you for 7 months. I mean, how did nobody say anything for 7 months? That is such a long time. If someone was calling me by the wrong name, I would probably correct them right away and just say, hey, it's this instead of this. But to just let it slide for 7 months, ooh, brutal. I can understand where this person's coming from. I would absolutely want to quit and not be there anymore. How horribly embarrassing is that? And why would the coworkers not say anything? That's actually horribly toxic. It's either they blatantly just didn't say anything because they just didn't care, or they willingly didn't say anything and probably made fun of this person behind their back. I mean, I can see both things happening. It just really sucks that they had to be on the receiving end of this.
The full video is on Am I the Jerk, so check out the link in the description for that, and if there are any updates, that's where they'll be. But also, there's a playlist that has all the stories for Am I the Jerk and Am I the Genius. So if you click that playlist, it'll just play one long story after another. This is a good option for people that are completionists and want to listen to every story on the channel. That way it makes it easy if you just want to throw it on in the background and play some games or work out or zone out. And the playlist is already here on YouTube, so you don't have to go anywhere.